Hello, my friends. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm your hostess, Jackie Lentz, and this is my storytelling podcast. This week begins a new entertainment. Jacqui Just Chatters has created an original murder mystery serial. Over several weeks, you will hear, in the style of a vintage radio drama, episodes about how in the 1930s a killer struck at the stately Van Dyke Manor in the Hudson River Valley during Christmas. Figuring out a whodunit is more fun with friends. Grab some pails to listen along and dissect the clues. Can you figure out who the killer is before the reveal? To share your comments, head over to my Facebook page or website. You can find the links in the episode notes. Without further ado, let's tune into this week's broadcast.
Welcome to the National Association of Broadcasters Thriller Theater. This evening our offering is the first serial episode of A Deadly Holiday on the Hudson. A big round of applause for our sponsor, Hunky Huff's Cigarettes. When you want to let others know just what kind of man you are, reach for Hunky Huff's, the only cigarette with our patented denim flavor.
The snow is really starting to come down now. Turn on the radio, Charlie, and let's find a weather broadcast.
Yeah, this snow is coming heavier than a loan shark looking to make a collection. I'll see if I can find any news.
Glad tidings were heard by all the young needy children at the Masonic Temple in Rockland County. The Booster Club gathered 500 kids to ring in the holiday with warm meals, candy, fruit, and a gift. In other news, the devastated Lindbergh family has pulled up stakes and shipped off to England, fleeing threats of death and kidnapping. Snow has begun to fall in the Hudson River Valley. A blustery storm has left whiteout conditions in Buffalo and is expected to drop several inches in the next 24 hours. In entertainment news, you need to get a ticket tonight if you want to see Merle Oberon and Frederick March in Dark Angel.
Nothing good on the radio. Just whiteouts and kidnappings. You keep your eyes on the road, Alice. We don't want to slide into the river.
I've got it under control. It's just all these trees that are making you nervous. You're used to concrete and tall buildings. We'll get to Uncle Richard and Aunt Edith's house before the worst hits.
Well, if it gets any worse, we're going to need Dasher and Dancer to give us a tow. Okay, this Uncle Richard is your father's brother, Richard Van Dyke. Inventor, eccentric, multimillionaire. Now, how many millions does a fella gotta have to go from crazy to eccentric?
Jeez, Charlie, you sound like you're starting a file on him. You shouldn't hold being rich against him. It's not his fault. He and my father both inherited a pile from grandfather. Innocent victims of family wealth. Then Uncle Richard got hitched to Aunt Edith, and it was a marriage of two great fortunes. Seriously, they're pretty harmless.
Pretty harmless? Define harmless. I once met a dame. She was 5'0" and a strong breeze would have knocked her over. But I don't think her husband thought her too harmless when she killed him.
How does she do it?
She used her cast iron frying pan. It seems he didn't like her cooking, and she took exception to his unflattering remarks.
Ugh, everyone's a critic.
Should I be on the lookout for a frying pan wielding assassin at your family's place?
Nothing like that. Aunt Edith is a bit of a snob, I can't lie about that. She made sure her daughter Dot made a very advantageous match with this absolute snore down in St. Louis. The husband isn't going to be here, thank goodness. Ugh, we'd all fall asleep in our soup listening to him drone on about soybeans, sarsaparilla, or shallots. Whatever it is that he does down there. Yawnsville.
So Dot married this pill because he has a pile of cabbage. I've known dames to marry for lesser reasons.
Promise you'll use your city talk when you're with my family. You know you've earned a college degree, and I know you're smart, but I want to watch my aunt and cousin squirm as they try to figure out why I'm stepping out with an average Joe.
Well, thanks a lot. Think I've been insulted.
Oh, don't get all touchy on me. You know what I mean?
I do. Why do you want to pull a prank on your family at Christmas?
Because it's Christmas. Besides, I know Uncle Richard will get it. For all his money and wild inventions, he's a lot more down to earth than you'd think. Oh, I can't wait for you to meet him.
I'm looking forward to getting to know him myself. Between what I've read in the papers and what you've told me, he sounds like a cross between an asylum escapee and a saint.
Now, Aunt Edith and Dot can be a bit of a wet blanket. I'm still peeved that they tried to convince my mom that allowing me to go to Smith College and get an education would drive any ladylike tendencies out of me and leave me unmarriageable. Of all the nerve.
They may have had a point, but to be fair, I didn't know you before you went to Smith. You might have been unmarriageable even before you had your coming out party.
Hey,
And is it ladylike to always insist you drive the car? You never let me drive.
well, it's my car. And mailboxes quiver in fear when they see you tearing around the corner.
All right. You're the paragon of ladylike virtue. Is that better?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Now, is there anything else I need to know about your family before we meet them? Distinguishing features, bad habits, that sort of thing?
Charlie, this is my family, not a list of suspects.
Sorry, once a police detective, always a police detective.
Oh, and I can't wait to see the looks on their faces when I spring that one at dinner.
Wait a second. You didn't tell them what I do for a living?
Nope.
Jeez. How did I get dizzy for a doll who likes to stir up trouble?
Good taste?
Now, a word from our sponsor.
I met a man down at the Five and Dime. I thought that he wasn't worth my time. That fella there gave me the eye and brazenly came strolling by. Pulled on that stick in a great big puff. His cigarette was Hunky Huff's. Now I don't let him out of sight, 'cause a Hunky Huff's man is Mr. Right.
Told me we were going to your family's place up in the woods.
I did, and here we are. They're home in the woods.
You said nothing about it being the Taj Mahal. We'll have one heck of a ring-ding-ding in this joint for Christmas.
And how? This is going to be much more amusing than joining my parents in Vienna for the holidays. Vonningbos isn't that big. There are plenty along the Hudson even larger. Don't tell me you're getting cold feet about this, Charlie.
I am getting cold feet, but that's due to the weather. I can handle a blue nose. The house is called Von what? What kind of a name is that?
Dutch? Something about a house in the forest? I forget. You don't think I'm a blue nose, do you? Just because I have money doesn't make me a stuffed shirt.
No, doll. No one's pinning you for a stuffed shirt. Let's just get our luggage and head indoors, or I'm going to turn blue myself.
Greetings, Alice, and your gentleman friend.
Hi, Dot. This is my fella, Charlie. Charlie, this is Dot.
It is Dorothy, and you very well know it. Hello, Charlie. I'm Dorothy Clark. It's nice to make your acquaintance.
The name's Charles Walsh, but my friends call me Charlie. I hope we can be friends. But can we move inside first? I'm turning into a popsicle out here.
But of course, how inhospitable of me. Come inside. The weather is awful.
I think I'm going to need a bit of Uncle Richard's scotch to warm me up. Hey, Dot, why did you open the door for us? Where's the butler?
It seems all the staff needed to make a last-minute run into town for who knows what. But that left no one here but us. Mama asked me to be on the lookout for you two. As if I don't have better things to do.
Do you?
Do I what?
Have better things to do.
Ugh, I can see why you are involved with this man. He is as ridiculous as you are. Of course, I have better things to do.
I'm sure you do, Dot. Where's Uncle Richard?
It's Dorothy. I haven't been Dot since we were kids.
Mm-hmm.
Daddy is in his office working on his latest, greatest invention. He's been in either his office or the lab all day. I haven't really seen him. Mommy is in the morning room writing letters the last time I saw her. Oh, and that Arthur chap, he's lurking about. Watch out. I don't like him.
Why don't you like him? Does he have a limp or wear an eye patch?
Ha ha. I'm serious. You keep an eye out, Alice. He looks like a pincher, like Cousin Andrew.
Ooh, thanks for the warning. I'll be on my guard. How will I know him? I didn't know any Nom family was coming.
He's some investor of Daddy's from England. Tall, blonde, older than us, and the English accent is a dead giveaway. That is how you will know him. He has shifty eyes and wandering hands. I wish Jacob was here.
Who's Jacob and why isn't he here?
Jacob is her husband with the soybeans, or sorrel, or was it snow peas?
Really, Alice? You can't seem to remember the important things. Not much of an example of a Smith woman. Jacob is in shipping. He sends soybeans, snow peas, and anything up and down the great Mississippi River. You make him sound like a simple farmer. And he can't be here because he took the kids to his parents this year for Christmas.
Why aren't you with them?
Because I'm not. I wanted to see Mommy and Daddy. Since I got married and moved down south, I don't see them as often as I would like. I decided this year I would make the journey.
Well, I am glad you're here, Dot. It'll be like old times with you and your parents. I loved roaming through those woods here as a kid. What fabulous adventures we had.
I remember Mommy yelling because I came home with my dresses covered in mud and often torn. With this blizzard happening, I suppose even you will desire to stay safe and warm indoors this year.
It does look cold and dark out there. I bet there are even wild animals lurking in the forest.
Hey, whose side are you on?
My own. I don't want to go stomping through a cold, wet wood. I like the sound of fire and some of your uncle's scotch.
Okay, I think that can be arranged. Is your mom still using that old gong to announce dinner?
Yes, it's tradition. Christmas is all about tradition, Alice. Promptly at 8 p.m. You are in the rose room again, and Charlie is in the captain's chamber. You can take up your luggage and show him around. I've done as asked. My time playing servant is over. I'm going back to my book.
He is a pip. How does she compare to her mother?
Aunt Edith is even more superior.
Why did you want to come here?
Tweaking their noses is my favorite pastime while visiting. Deep down, they are decent. Or, if not decent, they're family, which is the same thing. I wonder what this Arthur fellow is like. Is he as sinister as Dorothy implies?
And who was Cousin Andrew? What was that look you two shared when she mentioned his name?
Come on, Flatfoot. I'll tell you about it while I introduce you to the captain.
The captain.
Yes. Back in the 1700s, we had an ancestor who was a captain during the War of Independence, then later became a rum runner. Uncle Richard admires him greatly and created a guest room in his honor. There's a painting of him hanging above the bed. Let me know if he gives you nightmares.
Has anyone suggested that your family might be bananas?
Of course, but all the best families are, my dear. Didn't you know that?
It's not too late to get back into the car and head back to the city.
There is a blizzard raging out there, my pet. We're stuck here for the next few days, for better or for worse.
It's the for worse that I'm concerned about.
Tune in next week for the next thrilling episode. You've been listening to A Deadly Holiday on the Hudson, an Alice and Charlie mystery. Written by Jacqui Lentz and Kevin Underwood. Produced by Jacqui Lentz. Jacqui Just Chatters sends a big thank you to our cast of players, which includes Samantha Jenkins as Miss Alice Van Dyke, Stephen Hampee as Mr. Charlie Walsh. Sonia Moore as Mrs. Dorothy Clark. Holly Amirandi as Mrs. Edith Van Dyke. Ben Dre as Arthur Huntington Smythe. Samantha Neveu as Commercial Girl. Theme music, Mystery by Paul Beese and his Novelty Orchestra.